Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. And on the last episode, we've begun our investigation into the final class trial in order to try and solve all the remaining mysteries of the school, along with the whole mystery surrounding the killing game and why we're chosen for it. And long story short, I'm not gonna cover everything here because there is a lot to cover, and we'd be here for quite a while before I actually start the trial proper. But long story short, we've uncovered a shit ton of clues that would seem to indicate that there seems to be some kind of past that everyone has had here at Hope's Peak Academy that for some reason nobody seems to really remember. And looking back throughout the entire game, we've seen hints of this all throughout it, from the photos that we've occasionally come across showing some of the students that were executed, to Kyoko's amnesia. There were hints all throughout, and now they all make sense. Assuming that all the evidence that we've come across in the last episode is indeed true, and not some elaborate fabrication. But well, I honestly have no logical reason to believe that it is, especially once you take another thing into account, that being that weird dream that Makoto had before he was attacked by his masked assailant, where he remembered, apparently saying to himself that his goal is not to leave here, but to stay here. Here undoubtedly being in reference to Hope's Peak. And once we came across a certain series of video interviews that Kyoko found during her part of the investigation, that dream suddenly makes a whole lot more sense. In fact, I would go to say that the dream and what we saw in those interviews seems to point to the video being real. And if the video is real, then chances are, all those photos that we come across throughout the game and even during this investigation may very well be real too, and that there truly is some sort of hidden past that everyone has had here at Hope's Peak. And yet, we can't for the life of us seem to recall anything about it. Because as far as everybody seemed to have been aware, as far as anybody seemed to be aware, everybody's first time meeting was during the killing game itself. Anyway, like I said, this is far from the only thing that we've uncovered during the last episode here, but we're going to undoubtedly cover everything here during the beginning segments. So I'm just going to go ahead and get everything set up here and start the trial. The Mastermind stands exposed and must pay for their crimes. Now all that's left is the looming mystery of Hope's Peak Academy itself. So let me see if I have any other skills left I can set. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Last trial, everybody. Let's do this.
Since this will be the final class trial, I've come up with a special rule.
And that is?
So listen up! If you can figure out Mukuro's killer and go on to solve the mystery of this school, you guys win! But if you can't...
Then we can start digging our own graves, basically.
Then I win! And of course, waiting for the loser is the super exciting, super heart-pounding punishment!
Are you saying that if you lose, you'll execute yourself?
Yep, sure will.
Well, I'll let you do that.
And that's final? No loopholes? No wiggling out of it later?
Of course not. Bears never go back on their word.
Never mind all that. I just have one question for you.
Oh, you're taking this serious, huh? Are you feeling okay?
Is the Mastermind only one person? Don't bother. I already know the answer. You're all the Mastermind, aren't you? You're all out to get me! I'm right, aren't I? I knew it!
Undoubtedly, he's thinking that everybody else is the Mastermind. because of that photo that was presented to everybody during the investigation. Monokuma's little hint.
You guys have all been working together.
So I gotta get this out of the way first.
So I know I'm right.
Prove that we're not the
Hey,
masterminds.
you stole my line. You're all out to get me. I'm sure of it.
Let me look at my bullets.
I have evidence of my own.
Photo.
What a coincidence. I too have evidence to present. Evidence that proves everyone other than me.
I think
has
it's
been
the group
working
photo I
together.
have to use here. Memory serves.
What? Wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. How can the three of us each have that kind of evidence?
This one? Okay,
No,
good.
that's wrong. It's not just you three. I have evidence too.
What? You too?
Yep.
The evidence you're all referring to is this group photo, right?
Well, yeah. Huh? Wait, but mine's different. With the picture you have, I'm in it.
Never mind, I misremembered this little detail too. I thought they all saw the same photo.
But that can't be right. Because in my picture... See? I'm the only one not in it.
I figured as much. In which case...
Hero, you have a picture too, right? Let's see it.
Okay, but be careful with it. It's pretty important evidence.
This one too. Just like I thought. Look at Mondo. He's just so out of it. But what really sells it for me is his hair just pushing into the desk. And I see Jill is out and about right there in the background, just looking at Byakuya very intensely. Watch out!
So the secret in these pictures has been revealed.
Secret or whatever, I don't care. You guys are all in on this together. That's why I'm the only one missing.
But you're in my picture. You're the ones trying to trick me.
So the whole purpose behind these photos was to get us questioning and fighting with each other. The mastermind laid a trap to make us each think everyone else was working against us.
In which case, Kyoko was right to not take Monokuma up on his offer to see the little hint that he prepared.
Huh? I laid a trap?
A trap? How rude! What grounds do you have for such audacious accusations?
The proof I need to reveal Monokuma's trap. Each photo has a certain something in common. There's a connection regarding what person isn't shown in the group photos. The person who received each photo, basically. And the person is the ones who got the photos.
I got it! In each case, the only one not in the picture is the person who received it. So, in the picture I got, I'm the only one missing. In the picture Hina got, she's the only one missing. And in the picture Hiro got, he's the only one missing.
As long as we're talking about it, I suppose I should show you my photo as well.
What? Oh, yeah.
In
I
other words,
forgot.
Monokuma gave each of us a group photo in which that person wasn't included.
I think the biggest mystery that's been presented to us so far in trial itself here is the fact that there was apparently a giant fish in that pool with everybody that Sakura is just pummeling something fierce. How the hell does a fish like that get in the pool? How would it survive even? You can't exactly... Nothing can survive in chlorinated water. I think we should clear that mystery up before moving on, personally.
And when we each saw our picture, we just assumed everyone else was the enemy?
Figured it out, huh?
Yeah, I thought that must be it. But how was that a hint?
But you know, There might be more to this than just Monokuma trying to confuse us. There's something else that bothers me about everyone's pictures. What is it? What's digging at me?
Listen, can I see everyone's group photo one more time? It's not directly connected to what we're talking about, but I'd like to double check something.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm sure there's something unusual about these group photos. What is it? I need to compare each of them one more time. See? Look at that fish! Right there in the upper left corner. You could feed a whole cafeteria of that thing. Okay, maybe not a whole cafeteria, but at least a good chunk of one. It's just... how? Yakuya's picture. Hina's picture. Hiro's picture. And mine. There's something strange about all of them. Something I can't quite pin down. Something... Group photo's been updated in Drupal section of your handbook. Let's take a look at this. Because at first I didn't understand what was so interesting about the group photos either. Until a little later here in the trial. So I won't reveal what that is just yet. The photo depicts all the Hope's Peak students wearing matching uniforms. Worth noting is that Mukuro was pictured, while Makoto was not. At least for my picture. Other than that, there's something else that's very strange about the photo. I wonder, can you guys figure out what's so strange about this photo? Before we eventually get to before we actually get to the topic proper in the trial? You won't have too terribly long to figure it out, I'm afraid.
Can you just forget about the photo already? Ugh. Trying to trick me with such an obviously fake photo? I'm still pissed about that.
And on top of that, they went to all that trouble to make it look like we were wearing matching uniforms.
So you think they're fake? No. I assure you, they're quite real.
What are you talking about? There's no way.
Yeah! I don't remember ever taking a picture like that. So it's gotta be a fake. I'm sure of it.
But you know, can we really be so sure?
Huh?
Don't get me wrong. I don't remember taking this picture either. But is that really enough to be absolutely positive they're fake?
What do you mean?
The reason I don't remember this picture isn't necessarily because it's fake. There might be some other reason. Amnesia! Some terrible reason. An unbelievable and entirely horrifying reason. And I think it's time we finally address it. I like how I only get an N here. Probably because I'm playing on the hard difficulty. Oh shit. I forgot I need to put an E there. Okay, let me get an S. Look at me, forgetting how to spell amnesia. I'm hopeless. See what I mean? I am truly hopeless right now. I'm just fucking up right out of the gate.
Let's say that somehow we'd all lost our memories. That could explain it, couldn't it?
Oh, I get it. So we all just lost our memories at the same time and forgot about the photo. Makes sense. As if. You expect me to believe such an unbelievable occult-type story?
Don't even get me started right now, Hero.
Yeah, we all lost our memories? That's just crazy.
Crazy, yes, but it's true. But it's undoubtedly true. Because what other reason could there be if they're not forgeries? It's only natural that they wouldn't believe it. But no matter how much they refuse, if that's the absolute truth, they have no choice. We can't move forward until they accept it. Maybe the interview DVD is what I need here.
You're saying we all got spontaneous amnesia? Since when did this turn into some kind of sci-fi fantasy?
I promise you, I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything that's happened.
So the idea that we all lost our memories...
It's totally stupid, obviously!
Even if we don't want to believe it, if it's the truth, we don't have a choice. Otherwise, we'll all die in here. Okay, let's get to that little weak
When did
spot.
this turn into some kind
I promise you, I haven't lost... Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything that's happened.
No, you don't.
No, that's wrong. Those photos aren't the only things that point to the possibility of memory loss. This DVD does the same thing.
You're not gonna show us something indecent, are you?
We all know you'd like to watch something indecent right now, Telko, but right now, you need to put the fire out of your loins.
No, it's nothing like that. It's a video of all of us being interviewed by the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster.
When you say all of us, you mean...
I mean all of us, including you.
You lie! I never did any kind of interview.
No, it's not a lie. Just watch the DVD and you'll see for yourself. The headmaster did, in fact, interview you.
What are you saying?
I didn't imagine you would remember.
It's not about whether or not I remember. You expect me to believe all this? That I lost my memory somehow?
Well, we don't have any way to refute it, so we have no choice but to accept it as reality.
How can you say that? We're talking about living, breathing amnesia here!
To be honest, I have something else on my mind right now.
Something else?
You said the DVD contains recordings of us being interviewed by the headmaster, right? What were the interviews about?
The headmaster sat each of us down, one at a time, and asked us the same question. He asked us if we could accept the idea of spending the rest of our lives in this school.
What kind of question is that?
And how did we answer?
We'd say no, obviously.
And I hate to point this out to you, Hero, but you are obviously wrong.
Actually, we all said we could. Even me. I heard myself say yes. I could spend the rest of my life at this school.
Why? Why would you say yes to something like that?
I don't know. I don't remember a thing.
The same goes for everyone else. Nobody remembers. You don't remember choosing to live here forever, or even talking to the headmaster about it at all.
It doesn't matter if I remember or not. Even if I bought the whole amnesia thing, the idea that I would want to live here forever? That's just insane! How can I believe that?
Well, maybe if you actually could recall why you would say yes to such a thing, maybe then you'd understand.
Insane or not, we can't move forward until you accept it. Am I right?
You sure are, 'cause it's all true.
What?
I know it sounds absurd, but if it's the truth, there's nothing we can do about it.
Indeed. We only have one path in front of us.
Then, we really...
Yep, you all totally lost your memory at the same time.
This is all making my head hurt.
And this isn't like some normal kind of memory loss. You stole those specific memories from us, didn't you?
Oopsie, you figured that part out too, huh?
I don't think it was really be all that hard to figure out, all things considered.
Of course. There's no way we would all just happen to get amnesia at the same time.
How could someone just steal our memories?
How? Come, that hardly matters right now. If I said it was hypnotism, would you believe me? Or we opened up your skulls and messed with your brains? Would you really believe anything I said? How it happened doesn't matter right now.
What matters is figuring out what memories you took from us. That's what you're trying to say, right?
I knew I could count on you.
The interview with the headmaster, taking that group photo, those can't be the only memories we lost. There must have been a purpose to it all. A reason for taking away our memories.
Of course there was a purpose. It all has to do with the original motive.
The original motive, it being... the original motive.
You mean the motive you came up with? To try and get us to all kill each other?
That has something to do with the memories you stole from us?
It sure does. But that part's still a secret. Anyway, I'm sure it's not easy, but let's all focus on the class trial for the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Okay, so you want us to figure out who killed her before we do anything else.
So until we do that... well, either way, we have to explain every last remaining mystery. So, the one who killed Mukuro, the true mastermind, that's what we need to expose. Now, what do we got this time? Let's see what everybody says first.
So who did it? Who killed her?
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything. That much I'm sure of.
But when you think about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course! They have to be here somewhere.
What makes you so sure?
What does make me so sure?
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million
No, they're
miles
not.
away.
God damn it, I should have shot that damn noise.
Background, right?
The mastermind, the one controlling Monokuma. Where is the mastermind? Well, they have to be in the control room.
Whoever did it is the same one who that much I
When you... is the mastermind...
Of course, they have to be.
What makes you so sure?
Exactly.
You're just making stuff up. The mastermind is probably a million miles away.
Here we go.
No, that's wrong. There's no question that the mastermind is somewhere within the school.
How do you know? Did you find some evidence or something?
We found a room. A glorious room.
In the back of the
A
data
horrifying
center,
room.
I found a panel that
According to
controls Monokuma.
Makoto.
The mastermind must have been using that to control him all this time. So there can't be any doubt. The mastermind has been inside the school all along.
There can't be any doubt. In which case, there also can be no doubt that the mastermind is one of us.
What? Why?
Recall what Makoto told us Monokuma said to him earlier.
I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students.
So if the mastermind is in the school, we have to assume it can only be that 16th student.
How'd they manage to survive all of this?
Well, obviously by staying out of sight.
So we're the only ones here? It's not me! I'm not the mastermind!
Well, it's not me.
I blame Makoto.
Why me?
What? Why me?
'Cause it's super weird how you're the only one who survived being executed.
I am the ultimate lucky student for a reason, clearly. Although I'd argue more like unlucky.
Oh, I get it. The only way he could have survived is if he was actually the mastermind himself, right?
I could just be lucky.
Aw, nuts! You got me!
Fuck you, I almost said Makoto, god damn it.
Wait! What are you trying to say?
That apparently we're all in agreement that you're the mastermind right now. Even me, apparently. My tongue, or at least my tongue seems to think so.
Everyone, calm down. There's no reason to panic. The mastermind's true identity will become clear soon enough. Just as soon as we find out who killed Mukuro.
That's a good point. Rather than wasting time bickering, we should put our minds to work solving this mystery.
Yeah, well, how much time have we already spent talking about the murder?
He's right. What more is there to talk about?
Plenty.
If you want something to talk about, I think there might be one thing. We haven't fully established what Mukuro's fatal injury was.
Huh? But I thought we figured that out. She died when she got hit in the back of the head.
No, that isn't actually what killed her. It was something entirely different. Wouldn't you agree, Makoto?
Mukuro's actual cause of death must have been the other wounds.
I got it! All of the wounds covering her body. That's what really killed her.
Hey, now hold on a second. You did read the Monokuma file, right?
Yeah, did you? The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old.
It made it pretty clear. Those wounds were made at least a few days ago. So they can't possibly be what killed her.
Consider this. What if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago?
What?
What if, when we discovered her body, she'd already been dead for several days? If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old.
That doesn't make any sense. Because she had all those wounds before she ever came here.
Huh? How do you know that?
Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you know.
Unfortunately, that's not what her profile states. Her profile states that she was actually so damn good at her job that she never acquired any wounds at all during combat.
You're wrong.
She denied me before I could even say anything.
You need to pour more water on that fire, Toko.
Come on. I mean, you think I'm not weird, okay? At least listen to what I have to say before you deny me.
It's Toko, don't deny it. You're incredibly fucking weird sometimes. Not that being weird is inherently a bad thing, but you really are pretty fucking weird. If you're so sure we're gonna deny you, why bother saying it in the first place? Yeah, well, that too. Alright, what do I have to say to you? Oh yeah, we need Mukuro's profile for this. And look at that! Right out of the gate, I have it right here.
Different battles. So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those wounds in battle.
Stupid damn noise.
Are you finished?
You didn't deny me this time, Z-Wimesy. You made me go all cutesy.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
The victim was the ultimate soldier who'd strolled across 1,000 battlefields. Is that how she got all those wounds?
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier. She must have been at a hunt, so when you think about it, obviously...
Let's try this again. There we go.
No, that's wrong. No, Mukuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said as much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered this school, she hadn't sustained a single injury.
To be denied so completely. Actually, it's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because of all of Master's training.
Byakuya, are you finally training her? Can we finally get the OTP that we've been clamoring for? Please say yes.
Anyway,
It's for the good of every
so we
pretty
can
boy
ensure
out there.
that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school. In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her.
As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead.
Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mukuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her.
Mukuro's fatal injury has been added to the Truth Bolt section of your handbook.
But if that's what killed her, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long?
That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days.
So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. If Mukuro had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her. So who was it that attacked you?
The identity of the one who attacked me. I can't think of anyone else. It was the Mastermind.
I got it! The one who attacked me was the true Mastermind. When we discovered Mukuro in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me. But I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the Mastermind.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in. Let's start off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption.
Currently.
You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask.
Well, no. We can't determine who the identity of the person if we were to only look at the mask. But what we can do instead is use the masked assailant's other physical characteristics to determine their identity. And by that I mean literally everything about them but their heads.
The true identity of the masked attacker is Mukuro Ikusaba. At least, that's what I think.
What do you mean that's what you think? You have all these cameras set up. I would think you would know.
Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
Maybe. Let's see what I have. No, there's no way Mukuro is the one that attacked me. Even if I didn't see their face. If you compare what we know about Mukuro to the masked attacker, it should be obvious. Saw this profile. I think I'm gonna need to get a
You never
statement
saw their
from somebody
face,
here.
Right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh? And what is this other part? Is it the right hand?
Yes, actually.
Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot. Or perhaps the left foot.
Remember her profile. Or well, not her
Yes.
profile. Not her profile, but remember some of the evidence we came across in the last class trial where we found that tattoo on the corpse's right hand? That's our ticket here. Whoever attacked me, they didn't have something Mukuro definitely had. That should be proof enough that the one who attacked me wasn't Mukuro.
You never saw their face, right?
So you can't have.
I'm telling you now,
It was you.
No, that's wrong. Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me.
And they had no such
There
tattoo.
was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, someone else, right?
And who would that be then?
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
Yeah, we were in the gym tearing you apart, so it could have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Before anyone could say anything, Kyoko was removing her gloves. Those are definitely some very nasty scars she has.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burned skin.
Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the Mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. Then she put her gloves back on.
My scars should suffice as proof.
I second that.
Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true Mastermind.
What? No snappy comeback? Did she score a bullseye?
This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
On the contrary, I think it's just the opposite.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Then she was being stored somewhere?
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can't think of anywhere else the body could have been stored. It was in the pool!
I got it! Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body, and it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
We have a tarp. Proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is this lovely little tarp right here.
Got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
It wasn't really that tiny.
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
I can't tell if that is a compliment or an insult.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
That's just a wild guess.
If it's just a wild guess, why are you sweating?
Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
Are you talking about unmasking the Mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
An inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about...
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about the little lights? And from there, once we determine that little thing, and once we start digging a little deeper throughout our evidence as a result of that, and our report cards, everything started falling into place shortly after. So let's go ahead and repeat history right here, shall we?
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
I know, they're a very lovely average family, wouldn't you say? What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family?
I won't let you distract me.
Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. I can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. And let's do that then.
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this?
Yes, I am.
What? What do you want?
Freedom,
Are you
bitch!
sure about this? Proof, proof, proof! Are you sure about this? Proof, proof, proof! Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? What? What do you want? Are you sure about this? Proof, proof, proof! Are you sure about this? Proof, proof, proof!
Okay,
Are you sure about this?
there we go.
I'm not listening!
Damn it! Biolab lights, here we go!
This should prove it.
I almost missed that.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
Remember the lights? How there was 7 of the Borg lockers that indicated that they weren't being in use?
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in. And there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
Okay. 9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be on is 10 lights.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. That's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth, then Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was 8th. Sakura was 9th. And victim number 10 was Mukuro.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
That's exactly what we're saying, Spiky Hair.
I got it! The Mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
Not even close, Hina.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies than murders. The explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense? The same person was killed twice.
I got it! What about if the same person was killed twice?
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far. but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
Also, guys, remember that interesting little detail I noted during my investigation when I looked at the report cards at one point? That's how some information I gleaned from that seemed to be very similar to some information that we found during our investigation. Suddenly, everything all makes sense now, doesn't it?
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious. Because Kyoko's totally delusional.
Remember that little truth bullet we got here regarding Mukuro's fatal injury? And compare that to that CG image we just saw of Junko being killed by those spears. Notice any similarities between the entry and exit wounds of the spears and what we saw in that image in the truth bullet? If you do, then you'll have your answer right there.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima?
Junko.
Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mondo Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever?
Poor
Or
Celeste.
maybe Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Except there was.
Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears, all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered...
Then the similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same.
So let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
Exactly.
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person? Wait, so then... what does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9. Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive.
And who is that person, guys?
And that's the true identity of the Mastermind?
Yup.
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro! She's still alive! She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died! So Mukuro is still alive! She's gotta be! Total silence? Then I must be right. I'm...
Whoops. Mukuro. Alive. The one that's still alive is Mukuro. But, can we really believe that? No, it's not Mukuro. It's Junko who's alive. She is the mastermind. Because we just established that it was Mukuro's body that we discovered in the garden.
Found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Then she's still alive?
That's right. She made it look like Junko's body was her. So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
Mukuro's still alive. Can I really believe that?
The body we found in the garden.
Now, let's look over Mukuro's profile here. Remember these characteristics that we found here? Her height, weight, and vitals? We've already confirmed that the corpse that we found in the garden matches these characteristics. Also, looking at everybody's report cards, when we looked over Junko's profile, she had these same exact characteristics. So what we got present here is Mukuro's profile right here.
No, that's wrong. No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
It's not hard to figure out, Toko. Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. And it is... Junko.
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade.
That's exactly what it was, though.
But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Now that you mention it. I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I should risk to check for a pulse, like they do in movies and stuff, but... she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say. She was gone. I did check, absolutely. And I can say for sure.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So, the idea that she's still alive.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
Far from it.
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
Huh?
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
How could Junko have survived? I checked her. She was dead. I'm sure of it. She had Mukuro impersonate her. That's how she could have survived. But still, if she were alive somehow, could it be that Junko's not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Specifically, she was replaced. There's my R. God damn it, give me another R here. There we go. Give me an L. Damn it. A. E. And D. Give me a D. Bingo.
Now I understand. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Switched places?
That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
Exactly.
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but... that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that?
Right from the beginning, of course. There was really no other opportunity.
She was, about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched. They switched at the beginning.
I got it! The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So, you're saying the Junko we first met
Was an imposter.
was actually Mukuro all along?
Then we'd already met her?
I had, like, a normal conversation with her.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference.
Exactly.
That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right? Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
No, she didn't. At least that's what it seemed. But there's also makeup.
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished. Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation...
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning?
Exactly.
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it. But he can try to deceive us all he wants. It doesn't matter. Because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity. Not just once, but twice. The first time was during our latest investigation. With the interview DVDs, he cut out the power right when we were getting to the last bit of it.
Got it! While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
It wasn't just the monitor. The DVD player itself had apparently turned off. Which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened? Oopsie, looks like it broke. Out of service.
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke!
No, it wasn't a fluke. The Mastermind definitely orchestrated that power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The Mastermind tried to cover up one other piece of evidence. I've got to reveal that. Remember that group photo? That's the evidence. Here we go again.
Punishment is waiting for you. I'm not listening. What are you even talking about? Punishment is waiting for you. I'm not listening. What are you even talking about?
Here it is.
This should prove it. The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with this group photo.
Uh-oh.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we'd gotten. In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
Junko's face was never shown in any of them. The unusual circumstance common to all these pictures. Unusual circumstances is Junko's face.
I got it! Junko's face. The one thing common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet. With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko. Which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed that the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Xanadu!
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she'd died. And the real Junko is still alive.
And she's the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game. She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair.
Xanadu times 2!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the Mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait, hold on!
Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate. You don't have anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything, right now.
Closing argument time, baby! Let's do this! Was the identity of the ultimate fashionista who I met in the main hall? Well, it was... I believe it's this thing right here. Pointing towards Mukuro. Where did the Mastermind keep Mukuro's body? Right in the biolab. Now, where is that? Right here. The Mastermind attacked me with something. What was it? The knife. When the masked Mastermind attacked me, who was it that stopped them? Kyoko. After their surprise attack failed, the Mastermind fled my room. Fled the room. Maybe it's this one I need to stick here? I'm trying to make sure I don't get the wrong one here. I think that might be it. let's just move on. What did the Mastermind do with the masked body after they took... with the mask after they took it off? They put it on the corpse. Mukuro's corpse. So, right here, we need this. And for Act 5, what was the condition of the dead body when I first found it in the garden? Right here. We couldn't identify the mysterious body because it got blown up. I really hope I got these two things here right. Otherwise, we're gonna have to redo this segment. Okay, let's... You know what? Okay, this looks like she's opening a door right here. But the Mastermind looks surprised here, so maybe it goes here. Get in there. I don't want to make any mistakes here. I'm trying really hard to remember what I chose here first time. Okay, let's just try it.
Here's exactly what happened. We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko Enoshima, right after we all arrived here. But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place. And that girl's name was Mukuro Ikusaba. But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the Mastermind, Junko Enoshima. Her body was kept in a biolab, which had been converted into a morgue, until Junko decided to put her body to use. Junko dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden. She fabricated the murder to try and frame Kyoko, who proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school.
Son of a bitch. I did get it wrong. Okay, let's try swapping these. Now let's do it.
You! Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school. So she put on a mask and then attacked me. After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room. Then she put the same mask on Mukuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same. She wanted us to believe the murder had only recently taken place. Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity. She had to make sure we didn't find out it was actually the same person we'd met in the beginning. This is the truth behind Mukuro's murder. And the one who carried it all out is the true Mastermind. the one controlling Monokuma. The real Junko Enoshima. That's the whole story behind this incident. Well, what do you have to say to that?
Consider yourself exposed. You've gone awfully quiet, milady.
What? Are you broken again?
You can't get out of this, so don't even try.
Come on! It's time you finally revealed yourself!
It's not like you're an endangered species or something. How long do you plan to keep hiding?
Give it up, Junko. The game's over.
Over? Did you really think the story would end once we reached the climax of the case? Wrong! There's still plenty more to go!
Ultimate despair, Junko Enoshima.
We have been waiting so very long for peasants like you to appear. If you swear your fealty to us, we will reward you with half of the entire world. We've even drawn up the deed already. We will grant you honor, status, and some of our home cooking. Have you made your choice? Will you serve under us?
No thanks.
Oh, did you think I was being serious? Sorry, I was just messing with you. It's been so long since I've had an audience. Even I'm not sure what kind of role I'm supposed to play.
This is the Mastermind? Apparently so. She played us all for fucking fools. She's the real Junko Enoshima. And that's when I remembered a little scene, a very tiny little scene that occurred at the very beginning of the game, where Mukuro, when asked by Makoto why her face didn't match up with what was seen in the magazines and the like, how Mukuro explained that the reason for that inconsistency was because it was photoshopped and the like. Well, the reason I didn't assume anything suspicious about that is because that actually is a thing that happens in the real world. A lot of models' facial features and other characteristics are often photoshopped and edited to look more attractive than they actually do in real life. Basically to help sell an image to you, basically. But now that we actually see the person right in front of us, they have the same exact face as the person in those magazine covers. So now it casts all those little scenes where we saw those magazine covers in a whole new light. Because technically, right from the very beginning, we've been looking at the real Junko Enoshima without even realizing it. Bit of a mind blower, really.
Anyway, looks like I've finally been set free. Having to play Monokuma all the time, day after day.
I hope it made you sleep deprived, you freaking bitch. You are evil.
It was like I was stuck in purgatory, or like a slow suicide. I get bored so easy, you know?
Your face!
Huh? What about my face? What's wrong with my beautiful face? People have told me I'm cuter than 100 chihuahuas combined.
I feel like this isn't the first time I've seen you.
No, I do remember seeing it. I'm sure I've seen her somewhere too. Was it the first day? No, it was before arriving at school.
I got it!
Almost made a mistake there.
That's right. It was before I ever came to this school. I remember seeing a magazine cover. And you were on it.
See what I mean? The same exact face.
Wow, you have a pretty good memory. I guess that's why you've made it this far, huh?
So I was right. Then what you told me in the main hall when this all began...
I've seen her on tons of magazine covers, but I feel like that doesn't quite match up to reality. Huh? Oh, are you talking about my cover photos and junk? Well, of course. Those are totally photoshopped. Photoshopped? Yeah, you know, edited to hell and back, with like computers and junk. Oh, so they aren't real.
Sometimes a little lie is necessary to keep things moving along. Wouldn't you agree?
That explains why she didn't quite seem the same, because she was a different person all along.
I'm me, and Mukuro is Mukuro. She tried her best, but there's just no way she could have passed as the ultimate fashionista. Two people can never become one as long as the walls of mind and body exist. Not even if they're twins.
Say what now?
Twins!
I know, it's such a cliche, right? I'm almost embarrassed to admit it.
Looking at you awfully closely, you do definitely have a lot of similar facial features.
So basically, Mukuro and I had your stereotypical twin relationship. The older sister, tough and proud. That was Mukuro. Younger sister, smart and cute. That was...
Me! Junko fucking Enoshima! And together, we were the Despair Sisters, aka the Ultimate Despair!
Whoa! She's a totally different person now!
No shit, hero.
Like I said, I get bored easy as hell! I even get fucking bored with myself!
Well, to be fair, your monotone voice was getting kind of boring by this point.
But if you're twins, why do you have different last names? Oh, that again? You have any idea how many times people ask me that shit? Maybe it's new to your dumb ass, but it bores me to tears. Answering the same questions over and over? Just make up whatever answer you want. I don't give a shit. The truth's fucking lame anyway.
But if she was your twin, that means you killed your own sister?
Well, basically, yes. It would seem that's exactly what she did.
And for reasons deeper and darker than the ocean. Ha! As if!
Well, I suppose I'd better explain.
How do you change your hairstyle so damn fast? What's your secret? I'd like to know.
For my plan to work, someone had to be able to control the killing game from behind the scenes. The so-called Mastermind had to operate Monokuma, keep an eye on everyone, things like that. But after looking at the situation, I determined it would be impossible for Mukuro to perform such duties. Because naturally, she turned out to be the letdown of the family, leaving me behind to run off and join some band of mercenaries. Such a disappointment. So, I decided to play the role of director and have her join the rest of you in your school life. I could have let her work alongside me, but she would have been useless to me that way. Besides, 15 students seemed like a solid number to start with. Of course, the fact that she was the ultimate soldier posed something of a problem. She had what I call the three atrocities: atrociously rank, atrociously filthy, atrociously repulsive.
How absolutely mean of you to say about your twin. Didn't you love her?
It was atrociously clear just how out of touch she was with the rest of society. Meanwhile, my ultimate fashionista status has an undeniable appeal that I didn't want to go to waste. And that's Why you switched identities?
Sadly, her inability to match my personality was even greater than I'd calculated. It was a lost cause.
Well, I can kind of understand that personally, because it seems to me like you don't really have a consistent personality to speak of.
She was nothing more than a bit player, an extra unworthy of lines. Being the utter disappointment that she was, anyone would have expected her to get killed off right away. Which is precisely why I killed her, to meet everyone's expectations.
That can't be your only reason, can it?
Well, no, of course not. I also did it to avoid becoming bored.
Like I just said a minute ago, you're evil.
I've never been a stickler for following a plan to the letter, you know?
This is the face of evil, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Pure, unadulterated evil. Committed to memory.
If I planned everything out and knew just what was gonna happen, that'd be so boring. So, I changed things just a bit and decided to use Mukuro to make a little point.
In other words, Mukuro's death was a one-sided, premeditated act of betrayal. Just as I suspected. When Mukuro was killed, she must have been as surprised as anybody else.
Huh? This wasn't supposed to. Why me?
So, you figured it out? Well, you're right. There's no way Mukuro could have pulled off such a convincing performance. But she did teach you all a very valuable lesson, don't you think?
You know, Junko, since as far as we were concerned at that point, that we were all meeting each other for the first time, we really had no solid personality to speak of, to really go by once we met Junko, quote unquote. Because, I mean, interviews and the like, whether it be in magazines or TV interviews and all that stuff and all that fun stuff, that could just be a public face that you could put on here because, you know, you're addressing the public at large. But in a more isolated, much more isolated, shall we say, environment than the public square, like, say, this killing game, it would pretty much have given everybody an opportunity to meet the real Junko, so to speak, because technically nobody ever actually knew her until you guys all met for the first time, technically speaking. You understand what I'm saying here? I hope I'm making sense. So, where I'm going at with this is, why would you be... It doesn't make sense for you to be concerned about her being able to pull you off if we never really knew what you were like to begin with, you know? So that doesn't really... So your whole reason here, well, that first reason anyway, doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I just can't help but point that out, you know?
How can you talk like that? You sacrificed your own sister. How does that not even bother you?
Probably because she's a psychopath?
What? I sacrificed her? That's what's got you so hot under the collar? Jeez, misunderstandings sure are scary. We were the ultimate despair, you know? So we never had any kind of hope or expectations.
Well, that's not the impression I got, as she was basically bleeding to death after she got impaled. She certainly seemed to have some expectations that weren't met, thanks to you.
Nope, I felt despair as long as I can remember. Like I never should have been born at all.
Maybe you really shouldn't have.
When I was born, I cried tears of total despair.
And you remember this how?
So that's why for us, it's not a big deal whether we die or kill. We're just those kinds of people. We can do anything. We've always been filled with despair. So when we do something, we go all the way and live without regret.
So you just murdered your own sister and didn't think anything of it?
That's not true at all. We were twins.
How could I not be sad?
Now she has mushrooms growing out of her head. Maybe I should call you Fungus Woman. No, that doesn't have a good ring to it. Fungus Lady! If I think of something better, I'll just probably blurt it out later.
That's why it gets me so excited. Killing my precious sister with my own 2 hands. That act is filled with so much despair. You can't help but put a super in front of it. It's like super, 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 super despair. No, more than that. Super, 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 super despair.
Sounds super serious.
It just feels so good.
What the hell is wrong with you?
My sentiments exactly, hero.
And my sister too. In that moment of death, I think she must have felt that despair. After all, to be murdered by your own sister, and only as an example to someone else, she must have died feeling such excruciating hopelessness. I'm so jealous of her. Super jealous.
Have you ever visited a psychiatrist at any point in your life, just out of interest? Because I think you'd make a very fascinating case study for something.
I knew you couldn't be just some ordinary person. You're some kind of abnormality.
Turning your own despair into some kind of fetish. Abnormality doesn't even begin to describe it.
Like, Genocide Jill is crazy for sure, but this is a whole nother level of nuts!
You're saying I don't compare to some lowly beast that can only kill the weak, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at least in Jill's case, it makes this a kind of twisted sort of sense why she kills who she kills. It's not really that much different from your average serial killer in a lot of respects. I mean, serial killers aren't very three-dimensional people, so to speak. They're not too difficult to figure out. I mean, they all kind of have a basic template in terms of personality and the like. At least when it comes to, well, their killing, their murderous desires and the like, if nothing else. You, though, well, I never ever recalled at any point in my life ever hearing about a killer of any sort that seemed to turn their own pain and misery into a fetish. Ever. So, you really would be an absolute abnormality in that case.
So, I'm hopelessly attractive, hopelessly brilliant, hopelessly athletic. I'm the hopelessly perfect ultimate human.
I think you mean imperfect.
No, I don't think there's anything perfect about anything you just said.
Yeah, Master's way more perfect. Because on top of everything else, he's got that noble blood.
Don't you mean had that noble blood?
Say what?
What did you just say? What do you mean by that?
You still haven't figured that part out yet? Man, you guys are so slow! You haven't even solved all the mysteries, and yet here you are, yapping away!
Are you talking about our memories?
You've already solved this mystery, right? I'm the killer! So how about the next one? Maybe you should solve the riddle of your missing memories. Then you can start gloating.
Damn straight! That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to solve all these mysteries. And then, we'll have our victory!
I can't wait!
Alright, then let's just get straight to the point. What memories did you steal from us?
Why do you think she would just straight up tell you that, hero? Actually, better question. Why am I even still trying to figure out your general thought process? It's even more incomprehensible than mine.
When the group pictures were taken, And those interviews? It must mean... I got it! It must have something to do with our entrance exams.
No fair! At least give us a hint!
Your brains are like sponges, all drippy and leaky. I already gave you a hint before. All the memories you lost share something in common with a few other things. Do you recall?
Thinking back to what Monakuma's told us, the memories that were stolen from us and what they must relate to, the motives Monokuma came up with, of course.
I got it! You're talking about the motives you provided to try and get us to kill each other, right?
After all, Junko did say that that the motives that the original motive that she presented us to kill each other was indeed connected to our memories.
So you do remember after all. Well, I would hope you wouldn't forget something so important. It was stupid of me to even ask. I apologize from the bottom of my heart for my bad manners.
Apology denied.
So then, let me ask you another question. Did you notice that each motive I presented you had a specific theme to it?
Theme?
Yep, you got it. So that's my question to you all. When Sayaka was murdered, what was the theme of the motive I presented?
The theme for the motive Monokuma gave us for the first murder. Human connections, of course.
I got it! The driving force behind the motive you presented us with at that point was human connections.
Ding, ding, ding. You got it. Remember those DVDs I gave you guys? Each video showed the total destruction of your most important relationships. For example, your family. For example, your friends. I ruined all those relationships and showed you the results. It was to motivate your desire to escape and kickstart your urge to kill. But still, what a cruel thing to do.
You're the one that did it!
Yes, well, I'm perfectly happy to accept your disapproval.
Okay! Time for the next question! So, what was the theme for the second motive?
For the second murder, the motive's theme was the past.
I got it!
Specifically, Chihiro's and Mondo's
Our
pasts.
past, right?
Yay! Makoto got it right again! That time, the theme was... embarrassing memories and secrets! Yeah! And the whole reason Mondo did what he did was to protect his secret.
So, how long do you plan on dragging this out?
Relax, relax. Okay, on to the next question. So, what was the motive for the third murder?
Greed, obviously. 10 million buckaroos. The theme for the third murder was a new outlook.
I got it! It was money, wasn't it? Greed.
Seek and destroy! Hell yeah, you got it again! Goddamn straight it was money! Celeste killed Hifumi and Taka for a little personal gain. Her greed led to all kinds of death and destruction.
What's the point of all this? Why are you making us go through this case by case?
Don't worry, sweet cheeks. Just one more to go. Now, can you tell me the motive behind crazy-ass Sakura's crazy-ass death?
Betrayal. The motive in the case of Sakura's death was betrayal.
I got it! In her case, it was betrayal.
Precisely. You see, once I revealed Sakura's betrayal, that led to everything that came afterwards. Anyway, it looks like you answered all of my questions correctly. How painfully delightful.
But what's the point? What meaning is there in asking those questions now?
Relationships? Secrets? Money? Betrayal? These are all pretty standard motives, right? The most normal of normal. Totally middle of the road.
But of course, those aren't the only motives that exist in this world. In fact, there are as many reasons to kill as there are people on Earth. They compel humans to kill each other, bringing despair to the world. This is what we refer to as the seed of despair.
Seed of despair?
Just as water, air, and food promote growth in living things, the seed of despair also needs nourishment. And that nourishment is hope. Despair can grow only in the presence of hope. Two sides of the same coin, divided by a razor-thin line. Such is hope and despair.
How much longer is this stupid speech of yours? Weren't we discussing our missing memories? Why are you trying to change the subject?
If you would listen, you would see I'm not changing the subject. We are discussing your memories. What I'm trying to say is, the seed of despair is closely tied to your own memories.
How so?
You see, by taking away your memories, I gave you hope. Of course, that hope merely existed to be consumed by despair.
How could taking away someone's memories give them hope?
And plus, you haven't given us any hope anyway!
Is that so? All you've been able to think about during your time here is how to escape, right?
Well, yes, actually.
The mere fact that that's what you want proves I gave you hope.
What are you talking about?
If none of you wanted to escape this school, the killings never would have taken place. That is why we took your memories, so that you would have the desire to leave.
Which would explain the inconsistency in that interview DVD, and, well, everything that happened since this game began. If we all agreed to just stay here, then, well, yes, as you say, this killing game wouldn't have begun.
The only reason we want to leave is because you took our memories. Is that what you're saying?
Correctamundo!
Which means if we did have our memories, then we wouldn't want to leave. Do I understand that right?
What? Why the hell would having our memories make us not want to leave?
A most troubling thought, isn't it? But it's not enough. I want more distress, more despair. I put so much effort into creating hope in order to feed your despair and make it grow. So, just like Crazy Eddie slashing his prices and passing the savings on to you, let me give you a hint.
Huh? Really?
Then hurry up and tell us. Okie dokie. Like they say, seeing is believing. I'd like for you to see the outside world.
The outside world?
You mean the world beyond the school walls?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what she means, bro.
So something really did happen out there.
Now are you interested in what I have to say? You wanna see what's out there? I wanna see too. See your faces sink into despair. Now then, open sesame! Behold, the world beyond the school walls! This is the outside world you've all been so anxious to claw your way back into.
Apparently, in the outside world, people have lost any semblance of good fashion sense. And art. That is fucking horrible. What did you do?
Dangerous. The world has grown so very dangerous. That's what this means.
What are you talking about? None of this makes any sense!
What am I looking at?
This is a scene from a movie or something, right?
What you just saw, all of you should recognize it.
We should recognize it? What about should we recognize? This whole thing is insane.
That world is locked away within the memories that were taken from you. If you can't remember, please just try. Do your best to try and recall.
Better kick your brain in the ass, because it's up to that gray lump whether you live or die. I don't remember ain't a fucking excuse no more, because now it's time for the final class trial!
Okay then. Bring it. What we need here is Genocide Jack's memory because remember what was said about remember what Jill would frequently say about herself and Toko as early as chapter 2? That every time that she and Toko switch with one another, their memories basically cut out. They don't share their memories. Basic information, yes, but beyond that, nothing. So, if Toko, for example, here can't remember, maybe Jill can.
What the fuck happened outside?
You want us to remember or whatever, but when it comes to that crazy, confusing video you showed us, I don't understand a damn thing!
What's the meaning of the footage we saw? Is this another one of your practical jokes?
I mean, you're telling us to remember, but what am I supposed to be remembering?
Nobody can remember anything.
No, that's wrong. Actually, she might remember.
Who might remember?
The other Toko. Genocide Jack. The two of them share certain kinds of knowledge, but their memories aren't linked, right?
I see. If their memories are separate, then even if one personality's forgotten, there's a chance the other may still have those memories.
What do you say, Toko?
Are you telling me to swap places with her?
Our lives depend on it! And by extension, all the lives of the pretty boys that are still alive and probably sane out there. Because we need to make the OTP happen!
No! Absolutely not! That'd be like forfeiting my entire identity!
Byakuya!
Toko, you're the only one we can rely on now.
Thank you.
Dun, 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 dun! It's me, your friendly neighborhood serial killer!
Boy, she just gave in like it was nothing.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I want to have it answered immediately. Do you know anything about this video?
Huh? What video?
The video that's playing right now.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, I'm the Mastermind.
Oh, nice to meet you!
Nice to meet you too.
That's enough! Just look at the stupid screen!
Aye, aye! Roger, you got it, Captain!
Well, does it look familiar?
I don't have all the details, but... Of course it does!
Then you remember all the stuff it's showing?
Of course I do!
So you didn't lose your memory after all.
Then why didn't you say something earlier?
I only answer questions when someone bothers to ask me. I'm the quiet type, you know?
Yeah, exactly, guys. She's the quiet type. Why would she ever go out of her way to bring up random little bits of information if you don't ask her? In fact, she rarely even says a word. She's like a little Tweety bird. She only makes the tiniest bits of noises. You can only hear them ever so slightly if you strain and listen very closely.
Oh my god, she's the worst liar in the world.
More important, if you really do remember, what is it?
Huh? What's the matter, Master? Do you really not remember the tragedy?
The tragedy?
Oh no! You seriously forgot? Maybe I can help you remember. With a kiss.
Well, a kiss would have to happen somewhere down the line to make the OTP happen, so...
Just answer the question. What happened out there?
Well, I can't really say if it happened or if it's still happening. But it was the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history.
In other words, it's exactly everything that we knew. What?
Why is that phrase coming up now?
Because it's all because of that event.
What is?
Are you serious? I'm talking about the way the world is now.
Is now?
The world's been destroyed, get it?
Destroyed?
Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Copy that, darling. Okay, so this big, awful, tragic event, they started just calling it the tragedy, happened about a year ago. It was so big and so bad that even this murderous fiend went pale at the sight of it. I guess you could say what happened was man-made. But it was more on the level of a worldwide natural disaster. Either way, there's no doubt that it was the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. And as a result, in basically no time flat, the world turned out the way it did, and that's that.
In other words, once again, literally everything we've already known up till now. Nothing new whatsoever.
That's all there is to it? Come on! There wasn't a single concrete description in there!
Well, it just so happens I don't know any of the specifics. Miss Moreau saw it all play out in real time, so why don't you ask her?
We already did, and she didn't know anything. That's why we're asking you.
I couldn't live up to Master's expectations! To die! To die! This is the true tragedy!
Don't give up hope, Jill! There's hope for the OTP yet! I got to make it happen! It's going to happen! I have to save people!
Okay, that's enough of your little lover's quarrel. Whatever happened, it doesn't matter at this exact point in time, right? The end justifies the means. Everything serves the outcome. In other words, the world has ended. That's the important thing.
How can the world just end? It's the world!
Yes! It's the world, but even the world is not finite.
Calm down. It's okay.
Stars certainly
There's no
aren't, so
need
why
to
would the
panic.
world be?
Every living person will be dead in 100 years anyway, so the world ending isn't that big a deal.
Oh, come on. Now you're just being ridiculous.
Well, as long as we're being ridiculous, I have another ridiculous story to tell you. It's the story of the Togami Corporation, which has given Byakuya's life all its meaning.
What? What did you say?
I'm glad to see you took the bait. You bit into it like a middle-aged secretary at an all-you-can-eat cake buffet.
Is that who you're playing as right now? A middle-aged secretary?
Hey! So,
Never.
what do you think happened to the Togami family?
I thought I had an insult, but I lost it midway through. God damn my useless brain. Anyway, I choose the middle one.
Correct. Well done, peasant.
Thank you.
But I didn't say anything yet.
I just got so fucking bored waiting, I couldn't help it. Even if you're wrong, eventually you'll figure it out, right? Till then, you're just going in circles.
So, no matter what you pick, you get the right answer. Pretty creative, don't you think?
I say it's lazy, but we could. That's a discussion for a whole nother discussion.
But
I'm so
do you
redundant.
think it might be a disease? Getting bored so easy, I mean. Do you think I might be sick?
Oh yeah, you're sick, alright, but boredom is not really all that's wrong with you. Far from it.
Anyway, like I was saying, Byakuya's entire lineage has been totally annihilated.
What? What the hell are you talking about?
I can confirm that his entire family has died. Even the distant relatives. The Tagami name has perished.
Stop with these idiotic jokes!
Stop! And said with such authority. A peasant would dare challenge us? The avatar of divine punishment?
Well, we do these sort of things all the time in JRPGs, challenge gods. So, I got plenty of experience. Why would I falter here?
You must learn your place, peasant. You are no longer the ultimate affluent progeny.
This is exactly the same sort of thing that the gods in JRPGs would say to me too. Right before I bash their faces in with all my man-made tools. Because somehow they have a weakness for all that shit.
They couldn't possibly be gone. The Togami family is destined to guide the world.
Hell, there is no world anymore, remember? It got fucked a full year ago.
Hold on. That doesn't make any sense.
Huh? I don't make sense.
Well, yes, but also what you just said doesn't make sense to them.
There's no way that happened a year ago. I mean, we only came to this school a few weeks ago. If some kind of world-ending event happened a year ago, then how do you explain the totally normal world we were living in up till then?
Have you considered the possibility that you're mistaken about that?
Mistaken?
Well, if I'm understanding you right, it sounds like you think the tragedy happened a year before you arrived here.
Well, yeah. I mean, like he said, we just got here a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago? Ooh, I get it. You're saying that what happened 2 years ago actually happened more recently, right?
Huh? 2 years ago?
Well, I mean, you guys all started attending Hope's Peak Academy 2 years ago.
Wait, what? 2 years ago? What was that?
What the hell is this chick trying to say?
That we've apparently lost 2 years of our lives.
I understand why you'd have trouble accepting it, but in the end, you can't deny the truth. And the truth is, everything is cause and effect. Deny that, and you may as well give yourself up to God.
I'd sooner give myself up to God than, well, you, so...
So, you must surely understand all the hints I've given you so far, right? What are the memories I took from you?
Come now, answer us. Answer with all your heart and soul.
How are we supposed to answer?
I just don't know what's going on anymore.
Still, we have to answer somehow. If we don't, everything ends right here. The memories that were stolen from us. If what Junko says is true, we first came here 2 years ago. But the rest of us only remember getting here within the last few weeks or so. So the memories she took of us were our life at Hope's Peak.
I got it! If we accept that what you say is true, then we've all lost our memories of the last 2 years after coming to this school.
Nope. No. I mean, no matter what anyone says,
Another correct answer. Well done, peasant.
Seriously? This routine again?
We've lost 2 years worth of memories?
That's right. You've already spent 2 full years here at Hope's Peak Academy. And that entire period of time is precisely what you've forgotten.
I don't remember the last 2 years of my life? That's not possible!
I want to think that too. I don't want to believe it. But that's nothing but our desire. I don't want to believe. I want it to be impossible. But if it's the truth, then we have to accept it. Okay, what do we have here? I think I need that locker notebook.
2 years worth of memories.
I could never lose something like that.
We've been living here for 2 years? Hell no! That's impossible! I mean, I haven't gone to any awesome school events or anything! Heck, I've never even gone to a single class!
Except you have, Hero.
No, that's wrong. Hero, there's something I'd like you to take a look at. This notebook right here.
Huh? Hey, why is my name written on it?
Because it's yours.
I found it in the locker room on the 2nd floor. If you don't mind, could you take a look inside?
Sure, whatever you want. But I've never seen this notebook before in my life.
Wuzza, is something wrong?
It's kinda similar. No, even more than that. This is absolutely my handwriting, without a doubt! But how is this? I don't remember ever writing in this thing! No way!
It looks like you actually did attend class here at Hope's Peak. But somehow, you forgot all about it.
Lies! It's all one big lie!
I don't want to believe it either. But there's also no explanation for this pocketbook.
And whose pocketbook is that?
It's mine. And the handwriting inside is also mine. There's no doubt about it. But just like Hero, I have no memory of ever writing in it.
And the reason for that is the 2 years of missing memories?
After seeing all the evidence, do you have any choice but to acknowledge the truth?
Isn't it just so desperately dark? The mystery's solved, but it's like a goddamn funeral in here! Shit, man! I've never been to a funeral! Hell yes!
2 years of school life. How many moments of blossoming youth have you missed out on? How many fun classes? How many school events? This was your chance to build lasting friendships, right?
And you took it all from us because you suck.
And on top of that, something tragically sad happened 1 year ago.
Probably also because you suck.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Right before everyone's eyes, the world came crashing down. You absorbed all that despair, but then you forgot it all. And once you'd forgotten, you made the choice to subject yourselves to this killing game. Oh, and there's one other thing. To be even more precise, the memories you all lost were...
Actually, never mind. I'm bored. Explaining stuff is boring.
What?
We are bored of this world. Everyone always talks big, declaring all the great things they'll do. But then they always fizzle out. This world is just so desperately fucking boring!
What are you talking about?
In a way, I'm jealous of all of you. To give yourself over so completely to such stimulating despair.
Yeah, so figure out the rest for yourselves! I'm sick of expositioning all this shit!
Figure out what?
Figure out where your memories come apart. That's at the heart of all of this.
Where our memories come apart. Did she talk about the moment where we must have lost our memories? When we fainted.
I got it! The moment I lost my memories. I can't think of any time other than that day. first came to the gates of this school and stepped foot in the main hall. When I passed out, I was overcome with a strange sensation.
Wow, you still have enough spirit to keep on talking, huh? So I don't know much about the details, but it seems like everyone remembers passing out, right? And your sense of time got all messed up because of the memory loss after that? I guess it must have been something like that.
After I passed out, I woke up in a classroom with my head on a desk. I assumed not much time had passed since I'd collapsed in the main hall.
But instead, 2 whole years had gone by.
The reason it felt so short was because our memories of the time in between had been completely removed.
You got it, honey. 2 years of memories? Poof! Gone! Which means, of course...
When everyone met for the first time, it wasn't actually for the first time. Unaware of this fact, you took the time to introduce yourselves to each other, but
by that point, we'd already spent 2 years together at the school. That's what those photos reveal, isn't it?
Yep, that's what they reveal. You were all such close friends. You spent 2 years together, and then you started killing each other. And it was all so you could escape into a world that's already been annihilated. What a terribly tragic tale. Even if you left now, there's nothing you could do to fix it.
You're the one who set things up to be like this!
I love you all so much.
What?
Once your school life here began, I thought about you constantly. It's only natural that I would fall in love.
So, since I love you guys so much, I'll tell you all about it! All about the idea we came up with as the ultimate despair! Our plan to bring despair to all mankind!
The ultimate despair? All mankind? I think you should just shut up and listen, Makoto.
Let's go back in time 2 years, okay? Back to when everyone first came to this school. School life during that first year overflowed with hope and happiness. Oh boy, it was just the worst. Everyone was enjoying themselves so much. You were all having the time of your lives.
But that couldn't last forever, of course. The peacefulness only made it through that first year. Because after that, an event unfolded that hammered a soul-crushing despair into all of humanity. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. All too soon, the world's days of peace came to a bloody end. And as you can imagine, the school was no exception. The tragedy even made its way here, leading to the extermination of most of the students.
What are you?
What do you mean?
The most tragic event in human history, and the ultimate despair that caused it. I can't believe it's all because of just you and Mukuro.
You'd have to have an unfathomable amount of resources at your disposal. An unfathomable amount of connections to all kinds of governments, businesses, and God knows what else the world over, and to essentially cause an event that is so horrific that it would just basically cause all of humanity to frankly go insane, going by all the video footage that you're showing us. So Kyoko is asking the right question here. Just what the hell are you? What are you to the world, really?
Was it some kind of organization? An angry mob? An incredibly motivated family?
You have a point. If I had to describe it, I'd say it was none of those. How can I put it? It was more of an ideological thing. Despair is contagious, you know. It's almost like a natural phenomenon. Everyone is capable of it. And now the entire world has fallen into despair.
But that doesn't exactly answer the question. How could, what exactly kind of despair could have you have inflicted that could have brought all of humanity down to this level? What the hell did you do?
In other words, if you see despair as the enemy, then your enemy is the world itself.
I just don't understand why.
We didn't ask you to try to understand. This was a tangent anyway, unrelated to the matter at hand.
Okay, so let's get back to the story. Hope's Peak had taken so much damage. You guys were the only survivors.
That would explain the state of the second floor of the dorms and that one classroom you found on the third floor, on the fifth floor, excuse me. Those were the only parts of the school that looked like they experienced some kind of massive damage, some kind of huge catastrophic event of some sort. Yet for some reason the rest of the school was fine.
The members of the 78th class of Hope's Peak Academy were the only ones left.
And then, something super neat happened! Now pay attention, because this is important, and I'm only gonna say it once! So guess what? To protect everyone who had survived, Hope's Peak was transformed into a shelter! That's right! It was transformed into a shelter! Ah, I said it twice!
Now, someone was responsible for that transformation, for creating what would eventually become your prison. Do any of you know who that might have been?
The headmaster. The one who turned Hope's Peak into a shelter and isolated us here.
I got it! It could only have been the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. He wanted to turn the school into a shelter to try and protect us. To protect us from the despair and tragedy taking place outside. That's why he asked us to make that promise. To say that we were willing to live in this school forever.
And I think at that point, and it's at this point, I think we can all safely say that all the mysteries surrounding the school have now been officially laid bare. We know pretty much everything now.
We believe he had something like that in mind, yes. If you, the collective hope of a new generation, could survive, maybe the world could have a fresh start.
Yeah, the headmaster put that much faith in you.
And because we had that same hope, that's why we all agreed to live here forever.
But creating the shelter was also his single biggest mistake. It's laughable, really. He was the headmaster, but he had no idea. He had no idea that we, the ultimate despair, had already made our way into the school. So what was supposed to be a shelter to keep you safe became a cage that made it impossible for you to escape despair.
Talk about irony, honestly.
I have to say, it really helped me out a lot. It saved me a ton of time.
By the way, it was you yourselves who blocked off the windows, the doors, all the exits. Under the headmaster's direction, you all went about your work like obedient little sheep.
You mean
We trapped ourselves in here?
And then you forgot all about it and started bitching about how you were trapped in here.
Once you'd finished building your little shelter, it was time for me and Mukuro to get to work. And thus began the killing game.
Me and Mukuro had come here, spending the last 2 years waiting for that moment.
That moment where you all began killing each other served as the climax of our global despair plan.
And the only reason you survived the tragedy was so that you could be a part of it.
You let us live? So we could go around killing each other? Is that what you're saying?
And don't forget, she's been broadcasting us killing each other to the entire world to make a point.
Why? Why would you do that?
Because this was so much more than a simple high school deathmatch. Rather, it was a method to hunt down and destroy every last remaining speck of hope in the world.
What are you saying?
Well, it would seem that there's a little bit left out there. A few souls unwilling to give up hope.
They must be the sane ones, then.
So I thought I should show them, which is why
Well, why don't you tell me?
What the Mastermind did to show everyone in the outside world. That was... Well, I just said it. They hijacked the airwaves. Now give me an H. Now an I. J. Oop. Frick. Okay, I'm gonna need to concentrate on this. Give me an A. There we go.
Now I understand. You're talking about you hijacking the airwaves, aren't you?
Uh-huh. That's exactly what I'm talking about. To show the world the murders taking place at this school, which was meant to be a symbol of hope.
That was the whole point of the ultimate despair. When I said climax, that was what I was talking about. The world watched as you fell into despair and began to kill each other one after another. Despair is as contagious as any disease. Any hope left turns to despair.
Isn't the power of television just amazing? By the way, since we started broadcasting, a whole bunch of people have tried to come and rescue you.
Are you serious?
But utilizing the heavy weaponry I installed around the school grounds, I had no problem expelling them.
Expelled them?
I have to thank you all. They were a relentless bunch, refusing to give up on hope and trying to force their beliefs on the world.
And that's not what you've been doing, right? Trying to force your beliefs of despair on the world? No, you wouldn't do that, anything like that. After all, despair is contagious. Once an infection starts, it just naturally spreads all on its own. It doesn't need any help from you, right?
But in the end, I was able to give them the final despair. Death.
So you just used us? To bring despair to everyone in the outside world?
Well, sure, but I also gave you a second chance at life, right? So it's like, give and take.
What kind of life is this?
Give and take? You're so full of shit!
And there's a reason I chose you guys to survive when all the other students were dropping like flies. I mean, we built up 2 years of memories together. You were all my treasured classmates.
Sorry, that's a lie. I just figured you'd despair even more when you found out a friend had betrayed you.
You are a bitch.
And that's the truth, which is what you wanted, right? So, does it make you feel utterly lost and hopeless?
Well, I gotta say, I'd feel pretty fucking embittered if I were in any of these guys' shoes right now. But I can pretty much say it would do absolutely nothing to dispel any hope I'd have. Because if nothing else, I would make sure that I would get out of here, live as long as possible, and try to instill hope in the rest of the world, along with the rest of the hopeful people out there, just to give you the metaphorical middle finger for as long as humanly possible, even if I die trying. Because if there's one thing I can be, it's spiteful for righteous reasons.
You solved the mystery, but despair at the truth, right?
Don't tell me. Did you seriously count on the possibility that we would solve your mystery?
And if we did, then what? Our final desire for creating this world of despair was so we could experience one last class trial. If you were bold enough to solve the mystery, only to discover that the truth was utterly hopeless, how would you react? What would you do?
See? Discovering the truth doesn't necessarily lead to a sense of hope.
Truth can be full of despair, too! Like right fucking now!
Truth. All despair. That's...
Not to mention, all those motives I talked about were totally meaningless. I mean, with the world having ended and all.
Meaningless? Then we...
basically killed each other for nothing.
We've been murdering each other for nothing?
And think about it. You chose to lock yourselves up here, then started murdering each other to get out.
We weren't just random strangers either. We were classmates. We'd spent 2 years together.
No, even I can't laugh at that.
We get it. We get it, okay? You're totally awesome, right? We get it already. So help us! I'll do anything! Just help me!
A peasant begging for his life? Oh, how delightful! We've never witnessed such a travesty firsthand.
But I'm sorry to say, begging doesn't work on me. All I want is despair, and there's no reason for it. And since there's no reason, there's no argument against it. There's just no understanding it. No argument, no understanding. What better definition of ultimate despair could there be?
Wait, hold on. You've just been going on about whatever you feel like, but there's no real reason for us to believe anything you have to say.
Huh?
You say the world's fallen apart, but I haven't seen it for myself. So I don't acknowledge it. I don't accept it as the truth.
Until you see it with your own eyes. Truth and falsehood overlap one another. In other words, you're not unlike Schrodinger's cat right now. Is that what you're saying? If so, what then?
Are you saying you won't accept the truth until you can go outside and see for yourself?
Basically. Because, I mean, it's possible that those video files you show us are all, you know, forgeries.
Well, you better not. You go out into that world and you're all gunners for sure.
I'd rather die fighting than be stuck in here with you.
Trust me, I'm not lying about any of this.
Well, even if it's all true, I refuse to give in. I refuse to lose to you. For the sake of everyone you've killed.
Huh? Everyone I've killed? What are you talking about? You're the ones who killed them.
I didn't kill anyone. I simply gave you a little nudge in the right direction.
So basically, you're indirectly responsible for everyone's deaths up until now. Because if it wasn't for you and your meddling, it wouldn't have happened at all. You really have a real fucking talent for passing the buck. I gotta say.
And that's all it took for you to start killing each other. You're nothing but bloodthirsty animals.
And you're not, huh?
That's why anyone was murdered here, peasant.
Say what you want about hope, but we're all creatures of instinct, right?
Hell yes! That's funny as as shit!
Shit. I skipped something.
No! This isn't just some game to us. It's murder! Plain and simple! You stole our memories, invented reasons for us to do it. You pushed us all into a corner! It's all your fault!
You certainly have a talent for passing the buck, don't you? That must be your hope, huh?
That's my line!
But we don't have much time left to keep up this banter. We have to draw things to a close soon.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the vote, of course. You didn't forget about that little rule, did ya? Oh, and also, since this will be the last vote, I decided to change the rules.
What?
You guys so full of hope, and me so full of despair. I've decided to have you vote which one will be punished. If even one of you votes to punish Hope, well then, I'll consider that a win for me and punish everyone on the side of Hope.
Even if it's just one person?
Oh, but don't worry. I won't be voting, of course.
Even if you don't, you've still got the upper hand in all this!
It's okay. Nobody would actually vote to kill themselves, right?
Oh, let me just mention one more thing. When I win to punish you guys, you'll have to stay here till you grow old and die. No fighting, no killing. That's your punishment.
What?
You mean, we just...
We'd have to just live here?
She's saying she'll let us live.
If you're not happy with that, then go ahead and punish me and make your way to the outside world.
Enter a world fallen from grace, where only despair exists, where you'd likely be dead within a day.
What are you saying? So no matter what, we're doomed.
Wait a sec! I just got hit with an inspiration bomb! Dying of old age is boring as shit, right? The audience at home isn't gonna dig that at all! So, here's what'll happen. One of you will get to experience an instant, super impressive punishment!
What? You can't just...
Do you mean to say you'll execute one of us?
And I get to decide who's gonna have to suck it down! Makoto, you're up!
Fuck you!
Me?
Yeah, you've been acting up, causing all kinds of trouble. I hate you!
The feeling's mutual.
So let me make this clear. Everyone has two choices in front of them.
I can out-hate you. I really could. Don't underestimate my capacity for pure, unbridled hatred.
If a single person votes for Hope to be punished, then only Makoto will receive a harsh punishment, and the rest of you will live here in peace.
If, on the other hand, you desire to see us punished, then you must all leave this place.
I will force you out, ensuring you all die horrible deaths in the outside world.
What I'm saying is, if you sacrifice Makoto, the rest of you will get to live out your lives.
Sacrifice me. But that's...
What? Has your resolve softened? Have you lost confidence? Are you afraid of being punished? Don't you have faith in your friends?
No, that's not it.
It's okay. You're right to be afraid. It would seem all of those around you have realized the futility of going against me.
I don't need all of you. I can make it out on my own. I can spite this lady by myself. Actually, let me make a correction. Junko is not a lady. She's a cougar.
It's so beautiful. Your lovely faces, eroded by despair, have come together as one.
Besides, Yoko, you could never betray your father, could you?
What?
I mean, the headmaster's only wish was that all of you would survive, right?
That's why he tried to trap you all here after all.
Yeah, well, I'd like to point something out to you. Since you pretty much got this killing game started, and it's brought us all here to this point, as far as I'm concerned, what would be the point of staying here? The original plan has gone to shit the instant the killing game began. So really, as far as I'm concerned, I would much rather take my chances out there, because being stuck in here with all the horrible memories, all the horrible despair of everything that happened in here during the killing game, that wouldn't really do much to inspire a lot of hope, I would say, at least for me. So, yeah, I want to spite you out where there's oxygen, fresh oxygen, and sky, and probably fresh fruit.
The least you can do is try to honor your dead father's wishes.
Kyoko!
One person's despair is enough to seal your fate. Isn't that just the most hopeless outcome ever?
So, who do you think's gonna give in? Whose despair is gonna sign your death warrant?
No one. Nobody's gonna give in to despair! We're not gonna lose to you!
So boring. Stubborn till the very end, huh?
You bet!
Well, that's fine. Then let's just hurry up and get it over with. It's time for the final vote. Everything will come to an end. Your stupid hope.
And your stupid life.
The final vote. This is it. The ultimate confrontation. I have to show everyone. I have to make them remember. This will basically play out. What's going to happen here is going to basically play out like a rebuttal section. But you have to go a very specific way about it in order to come out of this. Otherwise, well, you lose. And I'll show you all what exactly you gotta do right here, right now. I have to convince them not to give up. To live in despair. That's not really living at all! Okay. Ignore these bullets. We don't need them. What we really need is to take somebody's statement.
We won't give up. As long as there's hope,
we need to take this.
We'll never give up.
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
And we gotta shoot these statements from every one of them.
My fortune-telling senses are telling me not to leave this place. But to live means moving forward, right? So even if it's hard, even if we're scared, we don't have any choice, do we?
Exactly. We gotta keep pressing forward.
I want to keep on living. I want to open the next door. There must be something new waiting for me. So that's why, no matter what, I need to get out of here. The whole fortune-telling thing doesn't matter anymore. What matters is my own gut feelings.
We won't give up.
Okay, that's Hero.
As long as there's hope, we'll never give up.
If I were to die, that would be the end of Hope's Peak Academy.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
By the way, the air outside is totally polluted, you know. The only reason we're okay in here is thanks to the air purifiers in the physics lab.
Your turn, Hina. Oh shit! Fuck! I fucked up! God damn it!
If I die, the purifiers will screech to a halt. In other words, as soon as I die, the communal life you've all been living will come to an end.
Meh.
Jill has the best silence noise, hands down.
You'll have to go into the world outside, where only death and despair are waiting. So, what are you gonna do?
Will you just die? Is that what you want?
There is no hope left in the world. When you sleep, it's on a bed of despair. The world is in despair. You are in despair. If I don't do something, everyone's going to be consumed by despair. That's why you can't wait out or make any mistakes, because no matter what, you lose health if you don't do this right. You claim there's no hope left in the world. But if despair is contagious, like you say, then so is hope! I'll use my own hope to plant seeds of hope inside everyone else.
We won't give up. As long as there's hope, we'll never give up.
Okay, let's get
If I were to
Tina.
die, that would be the end. By the way, the only reason is thanks to the air purifier.
Let's try this again.
Don't lose hope now.
I've been thinking about all this. And I was thinking, at a time like this, what would Sakura do? You only get stronger by taking adversity by the horns. Confront that thorny path with enthusiasm. That sounds like something she'd say, right?
Exactly.
No. I think that's definitely what she'd say. Which is why Yeah! I've made up my mind!
We won't give up.
Okay.
As long as there's hope, we'll never give
Next
up.
up.
If I were to die, that would be the end. By the way, the only reason we're okay is thanks to the air purifiers and the physics. Say whatever you want. I've made my decision. If I die, the purifiers, in other words, as the communal life you've all been living. Meh.
Your turn, Jill.
Don't lose hope now.
I don't care either way. I'm fine with whichever one is more interesting. Actually, I may not look like it, but I always hated school. Hell, no matter how I look, still hate it. Oh, but no matter what, Master has to come along with us.
Exactly, because we gotta protect all the other cute all the cute boys that are out there that are still alive. For the sake of humanity at this point.
We won't give up.
We gotta keep the gene pool nice and
As long
diverse.
as there's hope, we'll never give up.
If I were to die, that would be the end. By the way, the only reason is thanks to the air. Say whatever you want. If I die, in other words, the communal life you've all been living will come. I can keep on living as long as I have my master's love. All of you will have to leave. You'll have to go into the world outside, where only death and despair are waiting.
Your turn.
Don't lose hope now.
What's the matter? You're not actually trying to encourage me, are you?
You needed it, clearly.
Ridiculous. It never even crossed my mind that I might give in to despair.
Whatever you say, Byakuya. Whatever you say.
But don't misunderstand me. I couldn't care in the slightest what happens to you.
True friendship. This is what this is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. Commit it to memory.
I just have to keep my word. I swore I would end the life of the Mastermind. Besides, the Togami family isn't dead, because I'm still alive. So until I can restore the Togami family and bring it greater glory than it's ever known,
We won't give up.
We're at the final stretch now.
As long as there's hope,
We need to get to Kyoko.
If I were to die, that would be the end.
I've decided to have faith in myself.
By the way, the only reason is thanks to the air. Say whatever you want. If I die, in other words, the communal life you've all. I can keep on living. All of you will have to go into the world outside. We're only dead.
I already said I would claim the Mastermind's life, by whatever means necessary.
So, what are you gonna do? Will you just die? Is that what you want?
The only one who's gonna die here is you.
I didn't really know my father, so I can't pretend to know what he was thinking.
Even though that's exactly what you've been doing up till now.
But even if we're just connected by blood, there's one thing I am sure of. He would never want us to abandon Makoto and choose to stay here. I can't explain why exactly. But if I'm sure of anything, I'm sure of that. Just because we don't actually know anything, does that mean we can't understand? Could it be that... No, never mind. So, Makoto, I don't think you wound up at this school because you had good luck or bad luck.
That's not what the lottery ticket said.
I think you came here for a different reason entirely. You came here to bring down the ultimate despair.
What an absolutely conniving plan that the headmaster came up with. Jackass. He could have been upfront with me about it from the get-go.
You came here to confront despair without ever giving up. And if that's true, I think we could call you the ultimate hope. What do you think?
Well, it would certainly add some salt to his saltine cracker, now wouldn't it?
What the hell are you?
The ultimate hope has been added to the Truth Bolt section of your handbook.
So uncool. Your stupid faces, the stupid things you've said, the stupid way you all treat each other. It's all so uncool, so unhip. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Lame, 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 lame!
I'm not any kind of elite anything. Hope isn't a talent you develop, but still. But I still gotta bring this thing down. This cougar of despair.
You suck! So uncool! You dare to stand against us?
Yes, I do.
Hope is a joke. Who are you?
Your idiocy is huge.
You're gross. Suffer from despair. I just love despair. You suck. So uncool.
You're unbearable.
Hope is a joke. Who are you?
Would you like to die?
You're gross. Suffer from despair. Everything is pointless. Suffer from despair.
You suck that you can use this shit twice.
Suffer from despair. No.
Oh shit. This is not good.
Uncool. You dare to stand against us? Hope is a joke. Who are you?
Your idiocy ends here.
You're gross. Suffer from despair.
I just love despair.
You suck. So uncool.
You're unbearable.
Okay, I somehow managed to make it through this.
Despair into tomorrow.
Hope keeps on going.
That could have gone a whole lot better, but at least I came through. That's what matters, right?
I refuse to give up. I refuse to get bored. I refuse to throw it all away.
I agree, boredom fucking sucks.
I refuse to despair. Because all I have going for me is the desire to keep moving forward.
What's going on? What's happening?
We're saying no to boredom, lady. I keep forgetting to stop calling you lady. Damn it all. Alright, let's see how badly I did. A for absolutely atrocious.
It looks like we've reached the end. I think it may be time to vote.
I agree.
We just gotta pull the lever, right?
Good. I'm ready to go.
Let's put an end to these trials. Put an end to the killing. With our own hands. Indeed.
Indeed, indeed. You've lost, Junko.
I lost?
Indeed. I lost? Me? No way.
Well, that's just...
It can't be!
You
You still don't accept it? Even the ultimate despair herself is vulnerable to the onslaught of despair, it would seem.
What the heck?
There's no use trying to fight it now.
Well, that's just... totally the best!
Huh?
So this is despair.
This is despair. We came to this school 2 years ago, created our incredibly detailed plan. I even killed my own sister for it.
And now
To come this far and fail at the very end. Your loins must be on fire right now.
True despair.
It's the most ultimate despair. What are you talking about?
And now
Don't you see? I was so hopelessly desperate. I was bored of the world the moment I was born. That's why I've been looking forward to this so desperately. This once-in-a-lifetime experience. It's my first and last colossal despair, here at the moment of death. To have the chance to taste the highest great despair, the utter failure of my dreams.
true despair.
I'm so hopelessly happy right now.
Huh?
Wait, is she enjoying this?
Anyway,
so are you prepared to admit defeat? You think I care whether I won or lost? Either way, it doesn't change a thing.
Totally the best!
Outside is only despair. Inside is only despair. No matter where you go, despair awaits you. That's not true.
Not possible.
You're wrong. Huh?
Don't make me repeat myself.
Let me tell you this right now. We no longer fear despair.
Okay.
Because we decide to enter the outside world with hope. Yeah, Makoto totally seduced us over to his side. These hips don't lie, man. Everyone,
hey,
you said that despair is as contagious as any disease.
however,
But the same is true of hope. All you have to do is look at us to see how true that is. Kyoko!
No.
Ah, stop it! Stop! I hate those faces you're making! Yeah, well, get used to it! We're gonna be wearing these faces till we die! To see those awful looks causes me nothing but pain!
There's one last thing.
Fine. Let me just say one last thing. If you guys want to get all hung up on the word hope, that's no skin off my nose. But just be warned. From this point on, one despair after another will stand in your way. No matter where you run, no matter where you hide. Maybe you'll find some hope, but there is a very fine line dividing that hope from bitter despair. Knowing that, you still plan to cling to your hope. Of course, because we...
It's fine.
Shut up! That was a rhetorical question. You interrupted my monologue. I'm almost done though, so whatever. Because it's almost punishment time, right?
it can't be.
Do you really intend to go through with this? That was the agreement, right? Hold on. It's not like I want you to die. What? You don't have to. Why do you want her to live after all this? Mr. Cracker! What is wrong with you?
Stop it!
She is a literal plague on humanity. We're doing everybody a favor, honestly. Stop it! What?
How many times do I have to tell you?
The act of living brings me no hope at all. All I want now is to taste that despair of death that you only get to once in life. So...
Don't get in my way!
I have zero intention of doing that, so... Go right ahead! Be my guest. Put on a good show for us.
So this is how the despair of death feels. It's so wonderful. Even a tenth of this despair, even 100th. I want every last soul on this planet to taste such despair. I want the entire world to die with that despair in its mouth. Okay, let's do this. I've reserved an extra special punishment for last. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
Congratulations, Junko's been found guilty. Time for the punishment. The ultimate punishment. The 1,000 blows. The cage of death. The burning of the Versailles witch. Excavator destroyer. Blast off. After school lesson. Pretty much going through all of them. Not gonna lie, that was very fucking satisfying. Emergency override. And that's how everything came to an end. The final class trial. Junko Enoshima. The ultimate despair. Life at Hope's Peak Academy. It was all over. Chapter 6. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. The end. You received a Monokuma hair tie present. Well, we did it. We defeated Junko. Now all we have left is the ending, the epilogue. But you know what? Actually, you know what? Let's just continue. But even after saying it was all over, it's not like the building exploded or collapsed in on itself or anything. That wasn't the kind of ending waiting for us. Nothing changed. Well, with one exception. The air purifiers turned off. Just like Junko said. They shut off immediately. That was the only difference. Goodbye, Despair High School. Epilogue. We left the courtroom and made our way to the main hall. We stood in front of the door. Nobody made a sound. I felt almost absent-minded. This was our epilogue before the final ending. We were stuck there in limbo, unmoving, unsure. But in the end,
Hey,
we can't just stand around like this forever. At some point, we need to leave. To nobody's surprise, it was Kyoko who broke the silence.
Makoto.
Makoto, would you do the honors? Okay. As if awakened by Kyoko's words, I took out the object we'd gotten. Up until the moment of her death, it had belonged to Junko. And in the end, she dropped it before us.
So,
But, is that really it? Is that really the key to this door?
Indeed.
You don't have to read into what she said too much to find the answer.
If, on the other hand, you desire to see us punished, then you must all leave this place.
I will force you out, ensuring you all die horrible deaths in the outside world.
In other words,
I will force you out. She said that just before dropping that. It makes sense that would be our way out of here.
But
you never know. Maybe it's actually a switch that's gonna make the school self-destruct. Well, the way I see it, we're dead. If that's the case, we're dead either way. Because the air purifiers are turned off. We're gonna run out of oxygen eventually, and we'll suffocate in here. So I would rather just take the shot, take the chance. I mean, Junko never said specifically that she'd let us leave here alive.
it's true.
You may be right about that. Maybe?
Yes.
But even so, it's impossible to think we wouldn't take our chances with it. Yeah, I guess that's true. There's nothing to worry about.
My beautiful scissors!
It's something ever happened to Master. I take my scissors and jam them so far up. Welcome back, Miss Morose. Huh? Hey, where's the courtroom? Where's the mastermind? It's all over. We're just about to leave the school. What? Leave? We can go outside? Then, that means me and Master can get married? And I will be the pastor that will wed you two. But I'll probably need to get some training and certification for that first. And then he'll give me a little jewel of a baby?
That's enough.
Please, stop. That'd be a greater horror than anything I've encountered so far. Yeah, well, better your despair, so I can give all the handsome dick penises out there some measure of hope. To keep them protected from Jill. And I vote all the handsome penises over your clearly unhandsome one. Not that I know what yours looks like, and I have no desire to know. But I'm pretty sure it's as ugly as your personality.
Anyway,
don't worry. I have no doubt that we'll be able to leave here without a problem.
but
It's what happens after we get out that I'm worried about. But, you know, in the end, I think part of me still thinks.
for serious.
Maybe when we get out there, we'll see that everything she said about the world was a lie. That on the other side of this door is a world as peaceful as we remember. A lie. Peaceful as we remember. Well, no matter what it looks like, it's still our world. It's where we're meant to live. Yeah, I guess so. And how do I put this? Unlike this school, the world is really big, right? Since it's so big, I'm sure there must be some despair, no matter what. But there also has to be lots of hope. Right?
In other words,
The act of searching for hope, to try and find it. That by itself is the true meaning of hope. As long as you have that hope, you can keep moving forward no matter what trouble you may fall into.
am I wrong?
Is that what you mean, Makoto? Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I don't need any of you to spell that out for me. You know, Junko mentioned that there were still others out there who hadn't cast away hope just yet. Maybe I should find them and make them work for me. That would give them some... That would probably instill despair in them, I'm sure. Working for a little snob like you. To rebuild the world, we must first rebuild the Togami dynasty. I think your dating options are going to be a little limited right now. Just saying. Because you have this lovely maiden here to consider. I'll go with you. I'll follow you anywhere you want to go.
You got it.
Well, my first stop is going to be the closest donut shop. I can figure out the rest from there. You better hope that...
Hey.
And what are you going to do if there are no more donut shops? Or donuts?
Okay.
I'll just get some flour and make some myself. And if there's no flour, I'll just grow some wheat. I get it now. If there's no road, you just gotta build one. Creation. Fate is telling me to remake the world. Not in your image, I hope.
Could it be?
That's my hope.
How about that?
I've reached the next stage. The next chapter of Yasuhiro Hagakuri's life story is about to begin.
Woo!
Woo! Thanks, Hina. You've totally opened my eyes. Hey, personal space, buddy. You're seriously creeping me out.
Makoto.
Come on, Makoto. Even if everyone in the outside world is gone. Even if the world is steeped in despair. As long as I have people like you around, I can face forward and keep moving. If we can get out there and do something, have some sort of impact. But what can we do? There's so few of us, and we're so small. What can we do? There's only one way to find out, Mr. Hope Cracker. And that's getting out there and working. It doesn't matter what it is, just find something, just find a starting point. Something. And work from there. It could be helping, maybe it could be, like, for example, helping grow some wheat. In case Hina can't find some donut shops anywhere. Or donuts. No, we can probably do anything. Yeah, we can do anything.
Well, I guess this is goodbye. And goodbye to Sakura. But hey, if we gotta say goodbye, we may as well do it with a smile on our face.
Hey guys! You guys want your fortunes told anywhere, anytime. You just let me know. I'll be there.
You know how much I hate being annoyed, but if something does come up, you may as well let me know. I can't guarantee I'll actually bother listening, but, you know.
At least you're still honest about that.
I don't know why, but I have a burning desire to start writing. I might be able to pull it off. A story about Master and me, and the others, I guess.
I'll be your editor for that story about you and Master. In fact, I'll help make it a non-fiction work.
I can't say I'm sorry about what happened, but still, it does feel kind of strange.
I really don't know what to say. I guess we graduated?
I guess so. It looks like hope really is spreading. as long as I never give up. I have to push even harder. I'm going to keep moving forward with hope in my heart. Since I have hope, I can show courage. Since I have hope, I can move on. I can move ahead. The world can move ahead. The door began to open. With my hands. With our hands. Hope and despair mingled together. Opening the door to the future. And we end on a cliffhanger. Or rather, an ambiguous note. Like, is the world actually okay? Or is it an absolute shithole, like Junko's been saying? Well, we do have the sequel games. So that's one way you can find out. When I first played this game, I thought I had a general idea of what to expect from the basic premise, but there was a lot more to this game's plot. So many intricacies to it, so many twists and turns that just made everything a lot more exciting for me the first time I played it, and it took me by surprise a lot more times than I expected it to. Especially towards the end game, when everything finally started being revealed. Everything just made a twisted sort of sense, and it was glorious. Every single mystery presented within the story is essentially answered in a very satisfactory manner. Very well done, I would say, this game's story. And hell of a first entry into well, I don't really know for sure exactly how big Danganronpa as a franchise is, but I know it's pretty popular. But yeah, hell of a starting point is what I'm trying to say. And I know at some point I'd like to check out some of the games I haven't played, because the only other game in the series I've played so far besides this one is Danganronpa 2. I haven't played Ultra Despair Girls or Danganronpa V3, and I haven't seen the Danganronpa 3 anime. So there's still a good chunk of Danganronpa stuff I have yet to actually experience for myself. So I'm probably gonna do a Let's Play of Danganronpa 2 at some point in the future. I don't know when exactly that will be. But I'm pretty sure at this point I'm going to save Ultra Despair Girls and Danganronpa V3 for the future as blind Let's Plays. I want to experience those games for the first time here on camera, so to speak. Because that'll give me something to look forward to with this series, if nothing else. Because with Danganronpa 2, like I just said, I've already played that game before to completion as well, so there's really no surprises for me to look forward to with that game. It would just be a rehash of, well, that game too, just like with this one. Not that I would be inherently against that, because I liked Danganronpa 2 a good bit too. But I'm gonna be honest. I'm more excited at the idea of eventually getting to Ultra Despair Girls and Danganronpa V3 because I haven't played those games yet. So everything those games have will be completely new to me. I won't go into it knowing anything about what's going to happen with them. So everything will be new and exciting. It'll undoubtedly take some time to get there, but when I do, you bet I'll be excited. Anyway, I'm just gonna shut up for a minute and let the credits finish. And of course, we get a little after credits scene.
Interesting. Things are getting very interesting indeed. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not a teddy bear. I am Monokuma. And I am this school's headmaster.
Who took control of the damn bear? Somebody stop them before they do something heinous with it. You received an Easter egg present. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the main story of Danganronpa. Of course, we now have extras to check that we can check out here. You know, like event galleries, movie galleries, artwork galleries, and the like. And of course, an extra mode. School mode. This is a what-if simulation type play mode. Now, what this mode is basically an alternate version of the game where I can basically play a regular dating sim of sorts, along with resource gathering. Because in this mode, I play a version of the events of this game where the killing game proper doesn't actually start. So instead, well, yeah, I just basically live out a different life inside the school. Inside inside the school, and I just do whatever the hell I can in there, all without having to worry about anybody killing anybody. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up here, instead of just shutting my mouth about it, is because, well, as of me recording this, I really have no interest on covering school mode, doing a separate run for it. Unless, of course, there are a number of you who would actually like to see me do it. If there is a notable number of you who would, then I'll consider doing it. But honestly, honestly, it really wouldn't bother me all that much if it wasn't either way. Because I know there's at least one person I've spoken to before about this from one of you guys who doesn't particularly care whether or not I actually cover school mode or not. So I already know that there's one vote in tally of, well, neutral, I guess. But yeah, I'll leave the possibility of me doing a covering of school mode up to you guys. So until then, until I figure out what you guys want me to do, if you want me to do anything at all about this, I'm just going to move on to my next game series from this point onward. And if I ever do come back to this and decide to check out school mode for your guys' viewing pleasure, if you guys make it clear you do want to see me cover it, then eventually I will come back to this game and do just that. But for now, at least, I hope you guys enjoyed this final episode, and by extension, if you've been with me up until the very beginning, this entire Let's Play of Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.